let's bring in Palestinian American advocate Ayah Ziyadeh joining us from Washington, D.C. Ayah, thanks so much for speaking to us. Gazans have once again been ordered to evacuate to so-called safe spaces. In 2 months, we will mark 1 year since this war started, and it seems it's worse now than ever before for Palestinians who are grappling with mass displacement, a humanitarian crisis, and the daily threat of death from Israeli strikes.
Yeah, I mean, I can't believe that I'm still sitting here 10 months later. And in the last almost year, we've already witnessed the severe humanitarian implications of these quote unquote forced evacuations. Thousands of families are facing the threat of being uprooted again, and it's making an already dire situation significantly worse. The fact that this is occurring weeks after an ICJ ruling declared Israel as an apartheid state too, and the fact that there are countries still supplying this apartheid state with weaponry to continue its war on Gaza, amongst other things like its settlement expansion in the West Bank, is absolutely inhumane. And I think that the last 10 months have spoken for themselves how much the Israeli government is violating international laws, US laws, literally every humanitarian law in the book that's supposed to be protecting Palestinians, and somehow it's still getting worse.
And that is the incredible thing here. Somehow it's still getting worse. More countries, though, are standing up and speaking out. We saw today Turkey joining South Africa's case of genocide against Israel at the ICJ. There's also been the Palestinian statehood recognition from European countries, Spain, Norway, Ireland. There is more pressure on Israel, but it's just not enough right now to actually end this war. Why is that?
It's not enough, unfortunately, because while there is this while people are kind of admitting to what Israel is doing and the law is speaking for itself, there is nothing that's going to be done until the law is actually applied. You can sit here and talk about how Israel is an apartheid state and how Israel is committing war crimes and Israel is committing genocide, but until the law is actually applied to the apartheid state, and certain countries like the United States actually apply their own laws amongst international laws and holding the Israeli government accountable, it's simply not going to be enough. It's absolutely amazing that the last 10 months has seen this kind of revolutionary change of status quo, and more Americans and people across the world are seeing the truth of what the Israeli government has been doing for decades to Palestinians. None of this is new. While what's happening in Gaza has surpassed even the Nakba, and it's absolutely horrendous, everything that Israel is doing to Palestinians across Palestine, occupied Palestinian territories, is nothing new. And so while there's a benefit to the fact that this has shown the masses what Israel is capable of, it's going to get worse until Israel is actually held accountable by the law and the law is actually applied and not just verbally stated. And that's what's allowing and enabling Israel to continue, amongst the United States continuing to supply Israel with weaponry, even though it goes against international law. It goes against the ICJ ruling that says that nobody should be supplying Israel with any weaponry, and US laws like the Foreign Assistance Act or the Leahy laws that literally are supposed to protect us from funding and supplying weaponry to foreign governments that are committing atrocious war crimes and genocide like Israel is committing.
But the U.S., of course, doesn't see that that is what Israel is doing. It doesn't believe that's what Israel is doing. We have the elections coming up in November. Realistically, do you think anything will change? Because as you say, until international law is applied or until sanctions are imposed on Israel or the U.S. stops supplying them with weapons, Palestinians will continue to be killed.
Yeah, I would say I would like to hope that even 10 months in, that the United States would change its stance and comply with international law as well as its own laws. This is not a matter of disagreement over coffee and tea. This is literally has to do with human life, and it also has to do with law. As it stands, the United States and the Biden administration has been breaking international and US laws for the last 10 months, especially within the last few months, where it has been established that legally speaking, Israel is committing war crimes. It is committing genocide. It is an apartheid state. So for the fact that the Biden administration has continued to supply Israel with weaponry, despite this confirmation that Israel is committing war crimes, is absolutely atrocious. There's no words to describe what it feels like to be a Palestinian American living in this country and watching this government do that. I am honestly hopeless, but if I was President Biden, knowing that my political career is near an end, then I would at least, even if I cannot erase my complicit history for the last 10 months, then I would, at the very least, knowing that I'm coming towards the end of my career, at least try to comply with international and US laws within the next 5 months, pending the end of his presidency. But that's TBD.
Yeah, that is to be determined indeed. Ayah Ziyadeh in DC, really appreciate you speaking to us. Thank you.